Hello my dear students. Today we will see some basic constructors are there for C program, and these constructors are useful for building up programs at lower level, smaller level, bigger level, whatever it is. Before you know writing some programs by using certain syntax, some of the building blocks are very much essential. For example, when you construct a house, the building materials are bricks, cement, water, sand, then electric pipes, bulbs, flooring tiles. So these are the building blocks. You have to place them in some specific sequence on some specific way, then it becomes a house. Like that, to form a program, to write a program, you need to know the building blocks, the basic elements, primitives. You can call them as these are the primitive elements. These primitive elements are essential to be known. Then by using them, we'll construct the program. So in previous class, we have seen how a typical program, a simple program will be there. So there will be some sort of source file. We have seen primary memory and secondary memory. Your program will be stored in the secondary memory, that is brought to the main memory whenever you run it. Compiler, operating system, everything will be sitting in the main memory. Now when you run the program, that particular program will be executed and it will be residing in the main memory. If you would like to display something, so in the previous class we have seen printf saying that I am from MIT, like that you would like to print, then that is printed on the screen. So therefore to support that I am using one header file called as stdio. This is what we have seen in the previous class. So today we will see some basic constructive blocks. They are called as the tokens. They are called as the tokens in C program. They are the building blocks. You will have some set of keywords. They are reserved words. Every program, anything that you consider, some of the words are reserved. You cannot just do like that actually. You cannot use these keywords in other aspect. They are meant for some specific reason fixed by the developer. The C program developer has given certain operation to be carried out by these keywords. You cannot use the same name for your variables, whatever the keyword has been given. It means there is some specific task. We will see, I have listed out these keywords there, I will explain to them. We have some variables. Variables are just like, for example, in your equation you would have seen, I am solving x is equal to 4y square plus 2y, something like this. In your mathematics, you have seen actually x and y are the variables. Anything that you put for x and y value, so you need to be able to solve this equation in algebraic expression. In the similar way, here to construct a program, I am taking certain variables. These variables are the real representation of the objects that you are intended. Say for example, I would like to have set of people, their names. So therefore I am calling a variable as a name. Where is that? Murali is an example. Vasu is an example. Naresh Kumar is an example. This variable called name can take any value that you choose. You may be giving it through the keyboard, or you may be getting it through some other source, whatever it is, but it is a variable. It can take values dynamically. It can change the value. Right now the name equals to Murali, next instant it is Vasu, something like that. So therefore variable is an object representation which can take different values at different situations. So that is why these variables are required. Some of the things are constant. I am not changing these values. They are called as a constants. they are very simple. You also have some kind of strings. See, variables, along with that actually I am using certain strings, especially the character set. See, basically the data that you are using for the program, they are divided into two. One is actually numeric type of data. In numeric type of data, you have your float, integer, all those things we will see. We have another type of data called as characters. So, like you have your names, ABCD, by using this ABCD, EF, etc. and all by using certain codes. So, therefore, you have strings. We will see them in detail. There are some special characters which are being used. What are those special characters? These special characters are used to have some special operations. Some special operations. Okay, let us take this case. Those who are familiar with the WhatsApp group, WhatsApp typing, whenever you are typing, you put star there, after that you type something and put another star. Between these two stars, it is always it is highlighted as bold. It is a special character, it is an indication to the WhatsApp saying that actually from beginning of this star to end of this star, everything is made it as a bold. In a very similar way, when you are getting some characters, some special characters are there in between, you have to do some specific action mentioned by these special characters. We will see them. And of course, you will be having some operators. What kind of operators? Usually, as in mathematics, plus, minus, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, exponential. Also, we have some logical operators like OR, AND operation, XOR operations. Of course, you are not familiar with XOR, OR, AND operations. We will see them later. But you are familiar with arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, like this actually. So, you will be having these operators. These operators are used as it is like plus minus only. We are not using a special kind of thing actually. Also, we are not using ADD to do the addition. We are using plus symbol only to do the addition. Alright. So, these are called as the C tokens. It means these are the building blocks. If you consider any program, it will be one of these only. So, it will be by using the keywords or some variables and constants or some operations you will be doing, some special characters, some sort of strings in any of these combinations only. So, nothing beyond this. Okay. We will see one by one. So, we have here keywords. These keywords are having some fixed operations to be carried out. You have to use them as it is without changing. You cannot even write the capital letters, small letters like that actually. You have to write only with the small letters, how it has been mentioned here like this. So, here it is auto, small. So, you can see there are, I told you in the last class, C is very simple because it has got only 32 keywords, not beyond that. So, all 32 keywords are written over here. As and when we proceed, as and when we start writing the programs, we will be seeing them in some usage. Say for example, you have your auto, break, case, character, constant, continue, default, double, else, enumerated type, external data type, float data type, for, go to, int, long, register, return, short, signed, size of, structure, switch, type definition, union, unsigned, void, volatile, do, if, static, while. These are the 32 reserved words, you can call it. Call as a keywords or a reserved words. These words should be used as it is, and there are some syntax for this actually. There will be some sort of rules to be followed for each one of them, and you have to use accordingly, right. So, these are the keywords that we have seen. Next, for rest of the things, for variables, constant, strings, it's for these three, they are called as identifiers. These three are called as identifier. This is keyword, this keyword are the reserved words. These are called as identifiers. How exactly this identifier should be there? For each one of the identifier that you are using in your C program, you should have some names given for them. Names given for each one of the identifiers. Say in your class, there are 60 students are there. I am calling each one of them as a student, but when I am declaring them as a student, there should be some sort of definition. There should be some sort of rules when you are declaring these identifiers. These identifiers should have some specific, rules to declare them. If I am calling all of you as a student, STUDENT, you are all student, then I am giving a name for all of you as a student. Then while giving this name, there should be some rule. What are the rules that you are giving it? The rule is actually you should not use special characters. Special characters like ampersand, dollar, and hyphen, you should not use. Underscore is allowed, but you cannot use the special characters along with that. I cannot just use students. No, you cannot use like this. You cannot use special characters. This is one of the rules. Second rule is no keywords. Keywords are fixed. You cannot use keywords. You cannot, use, say for example, I would like to use auto. You cannot use auto. Auto is already reserved thing for, you cannot call yourself as a prime minister. Prime minister is already reserved for somebody else. I cannot keep my name as prime minister. No, you cannot keep like that. So, in a very similar way, you cannot have special characters. You should not have keywords. And it is a case sensitive. It's a case sensitive. How to understand this? Say for example, I am calling STUDENT, student. This is different from this. This is different, this is different. Because this has got capital S, this has got small s. I need to have differentiation. You can use capital letters also, no problem. But it's a case sensitive. You cannot just mix up these two things like that. Next, you can have maximum 31 character for any identifiers. What are these identifiers? Identifiers are, it could be variables or it could be constant or it could be strings or whatever it is. They are basically used to identify certain elements that you are trying to define in your C program. Say for example, maximum of 31 characters you can have, right? So this is another rule that you got to know. Next, when you are declaring variables, variables will be in, it can take, either it can take character or it can take float or it can take I am now calling it a variable. This variable it can take character, it can take float, or it can take integer or long or double. Okay, let us take certain variables. Variable something like this. Register number. Your roll number. Let us consider in your class of 60, you have a roll number. Now I am declaring roll number as a variable. Roll number as a variable. So how to declare this variable? It is something like this. Now I am calling integer. Integer is a keyword. Here you can see from this. So I can use this integer. What type of variable it is? Integer roll number. I am using semicolon to complete any line of code. So we will be seeing it as and when we start writing some program, you will be seeing this. I am declaring roll number. Roll number is a variable. Roll number is a variable which is taking a type called integer. Integer, it means it will take some integer number. How much it can accommodate? It can accommodate, there are two types of integers that you can see. One is a signed integer and unsigned integer. If you don't write anything, if you simply write int, that is considered as unsigned. If you write specifically signed, it means it can take negative numbers also. Usually int, if it is, say in this case I have not mentioned anything, it means integer roll number. Roll number is an integer. It means it can take any number from 0 to 65,535. Any number from 0 to 65,535 it can take. Say for example, if some variable needs to be taken with more bigger value, then I have to go for long. I have to have a long integer. Instead of this short integer, go for long integer. Say for example, something like this, int Aadhaar number. You know that Aadhaar number cannot be filled up with only 5 digits. It's a 12-digit number. I need to fill up Aadhaar number. Then obviously this integer, which is called as a short integer, unsigned integer, is not sufficient because it can go up to 65,535. You need to have a bigger range it can accommodate. So therefore I will be adding it called as long. Now this integer has become long. So long is also keyboard there. I can use this long integer Aadhaar. It means now it can take, now it is taking 2 bytes, 4 bytes. 2 to the power of 4 bytes means 32. It can take up to 2 power 32 numbers. 2 power 32 means 2 power 20 into 2 power 12. 2 power 20 is 1 million. 2 power 12 means it is 4096. So it can take 4096 million. Up to this it can take 4096 million. Up to this it can take. Whereas if you simply call int like this, int roll number, it can take only up to 65,535. See, there is one more possibility. One more possibility. What is that? If I consider this one as unsigned, unsigned is default, okay. Signed int roll number. If I declare like this, roll number is a variable. Roll number is a variable. It follows all the rules. No special characters are there. No keywords are used. It is case sensitive, it's okay. Maximum 31 characters. So therefore it has followed the rule. Now I am trying to declare this is of type integer, but it is a signed integer. It means minus 32,000 to plus 32,000. Minus 32,700 to plus 32,700 it can go. Totally 65,000 again. If you do not mention anything like this, it is considered as unsigned. There is no sign on this actually. You can use in this way. If you write signed, then it becomes minus 32,000 to plus 32,000. Similarly, if you are not sufficient with the range that you look for, you go for bigger number by adding one more along with that called as long int. Long int. So we have seen this. Now we also have another type of variable that you can call it as float. Float is basically real numbers. It is for storing real number. 1.23. 1.23 cannot be stored in integer. It is a real number. It is a round number. 1, 2, 75, 196, 32,000, like this. Round numbers, that is integer. When you are storing real number with a dot, then you go for float representation. Float, for example, I would like to store 32.46. I am trying to represent like this. Float percentage. Percentage is a variable which is of type float. When I call percentage is of type float, this can store any real number. Your percentage could be anything 32.56, 73.59, any real number. So that can be stored in this. Percentage can be stored. Percentage is of type float. So any float number can be stored with this. And there is a limit for this also. There is a limit for this. What is the limit? This float can go up to 3.4 into e to the power of 38 to 3.4 into e to the power of plus 38. 3.4 e to the power of minus 38 to 3.4 e to the power of plus 38. So this is the range this float can store. Suppose if you feel that actually this is not sufficient, you have a very big real number to store. After decimal point, you have some 16, 17 digits. You need to have a precise number, then you can go for double. So you can add now double float. Double float percentage. When you call double float percentage, it can go 1.7 into e to the power of minus 308 to 1.7 e to the plus 308. It is something like this, 1.7 to the power of minus 308, exponential of something like this, 1.7 into 10 to the power of minus 308, like this. 1.7 exponential to the power of minus 30. So it's a very, very big number you can store with a real. So real numbers are stored with the floats. So therefore you have float type of thing. We have seen float, long, int, double. Int is associated with long, float is associated with double. Then you have another type of variable called as character. Character is a single value. It can store only a single character at a time. Say for example, I am storing character P. P is a variable. Does it follow all the rules? No special character? Yes. No keyword is used? Okay. Case sensitive? No problem. Maximum 31 character? Only one character I have used. So character P. So P is of type character. It means this can hold one character that you can store it. It can be A, B, C, D up to Z. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. Small letter A, B, C, D up to Z. Some other characters are also, they are called as ASCII characters. There are 255 different characters are possible. Less than symbol, plus symbol, greater than symbol, flower bracket, open bracket, close bracket. They are all single characters. Any single character can be stored in this. Supposedly, if I would like to store more than one character, for example, I would like to store Murali, M-U-R-A-L-I, my name. But to store this M-U-R-A-L-I, I cannot store this in one character type of variable. I need to have strings. So that's why when I explain variables, These are the 5 possible types of variables like character, float, integer, long, double. Int is associated with long, float is associated with double, character means single character. Now you would like to have more than one character in one group, then you should go for strings. Strings are association of characters. It's association of characters. We will be seeing this in the form of arrays. Strings are basically represented by using set of, it is an array, set of characters. It's a set of characters. So obviously, set of characters are called as strings, and these strings are are used to store this. I've already told you about some special characters. We will be seeing them. These special characters, when you encounter, some special operations will happen. Where these are used? These are used to indicate, say for example, you have some special character, something like /t. When you get /t, you need to move a tab. When you write /n, you go to the new line. All those things, we will be using them along with the print statement. We will see these things later. Anyway, don't worry about this. There are special characters. These special characters are used for some special operations. Also, you have some operators. Operators I have already told you, plus, minus, etc. and all. All right? Okay. Now we will see how exactly these can be incorporated in the program that we have seen with the syntax so far. Okay, let us write some programs. So, as usual, you need to have this stdio.io.h. This is one of the header file. This is called as a library. You will be having this as a default kind of thing. As I told you, there is an entry point called as a main. We will discuss about this later also. Assume that in the first session, in the initial stages, you need to have a function called as a main as a default function. That is a entry point. Okay. All right. We will see. We shall declare certain variables. In the last class, we have seen printf statement. We will use those printf statement. All right. How does this will work? So here I am declaring certain variables and I am trying to print. Say for example, integer age. Age is an integer. Float percentage. Then I am declaring 3 variables called as a age, percentage, c. These are the basic tokens. I am creating some variables. This age is of type integer, percentage is of type float, c is of type character. Then I am using some printf statements to do this. I will assign some values. So let age equals 56. Percentage is equal to 19.65. This fellow is failed because passing at least you require 35%. He is failed. So C is equal to, I am using single quotes A. To write any character we are using single quotes. So A is assigned to the C. And I am using these values like age equal to 56, percentage equal to this, etc. and all can be printed by using printf statement. So in the previous class, I showed you this printf statement is used to print some message. Hello, I am from MIT. Hello, how are you? Like this actually. You can write something well within these quotes. Now, I am now writing to print these things. I am not writing hello MIT like that actually. Now I am like to print these things onto the monitor. the monitor you have connected to the computer, that needs to be displayed with new values, I mean these values like 56, 19.65, etc. and all A, by using some printf statement. So for this I am using percentage D, percentage F and percentage C. Say, as I told you, percentage, these are the special characters. So I am printing this age, comma, percentage, comma, A, C, sorry, this is C. Close this program. This bracket should be closed. You should ensure that actually whenever you open any bracket, that bracket should be closed. So therefore I have closed this bracket. Question to all of you is whether this program works or not. This will work. I have declared 3 variables. I have assigned 3 values and I got this printed. Why I am using all those things? I will explain this in the next session. What are these streams? These are called as streams. How exactly these can be used for the purpose of printing something onto the display unit. Okay. Assume that I have used this printf statement to print these 3 values. In the next session, in the next video, I will be explaining different kinds of print statements are available, different kinds of scan statements are available. So that completes the module 1. In the next video I will be completing this. So in this video I have explained about different kinds of tokens like keywords, variables, constant, strings, special character, operators, etc. and all. Keywords, there are 32 keywords I have explained. Then I have explained any sort of these identifiers like variables, constant, strings, etc. and all, you are giving some name to it, they are called as identifiers. Some rules are there for that, and after that I have showed you with small example, and these identifiers are there with 3 types of data types. One is called as a integer. If you are feeling it is small, then you go for long int. Similarly, you have a float to store a real number. If you feel it is short, you can go for double. Then to store single character, you have one variable called as character. So these things we have seen. In next class, we will see these streams, how to print them in the output devices. So we'll see it in the next class. Thank you.